take X-rays of COVID patients and last night was haunting. Working at a hospital in a Midwestern US town. Had more COVID patients last night than I've seen since last spring. Black means they're on X-rays and I saw multiple 30-somethings whose lungs were nearly solid white. They were in critical condition, those who weren't talking about how cold they were, on ventilators and couldn't talk at all. Just a few years older than me and still dying from this beep that people say isn't real. I see their lungs. I take the beep pictures beep. I've watched some of them die. The vaccines might be out and helping, but this beep is making a resurgence. Get your beep shots. I don't want to x-ray your lungs and see this. Nobody should ever see this. Even the beep radiologists tell me it's different from pneumonia, it's a completely new phenomenon. This is some scary beep. I'm so beep traumatized, and I'm not even the nurse who holds their hand on their way out of this world. I have no congruent words, I am just crying. This was all such beep beep. Please stay safe, beep. Edit, for clarification, these were mostly patients with persistent and/or worsening symptoms who had been admitted, though I have seen some just as awful during their first ER visit. Please only consult medical professionals for advice and not strangers on the internet. Thank you for all the encouragement. Edit 2, no, I will not be sharing any X-rays. That goes against hospital policy even when kept anonymous in accordance with privacy laws. This post was just something I needed to get off my chest. If you want to see what COVID lung looks like, you can literally type that in Google Images right now and see what I've seen half a dozen times per shift lately. To everyone else, thank you for sharing your stories as well. We really are in this together.
Thank you for the work you do. COVID very nearly took my life away. 1 year ago today I was unconscious on a ventilator, and it took so many people to get me to the place I am now. I am beyond thankful.
32, healthy and had COVID in December. So far I feel like I recovered 100%, but I'm having a surgery, torn knee ligament that I've been putting off for years, in about 3 weeks, and I need a chest X-ray pre-op. I'll be curious to see how it comes out.
I'm 19. Had COVID back in September, no prior illnesses or anything. I was completely out of commission for 2 months, 2 months where I had all the symptoms, couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't see anyone. Went to the ER multiple times because of how legitimately bad I felt. And it didn't stop when the virus was out of my system. Most symptoms stayed. Some days are better and some day less. But I hate how at 19 I need to monitor my heart rate so it doesn't go too high. I hate how some days my resting heart rate is just 110 to 120 and no doctor will do anything about it because I'm so young. I can't stop coughing, I'm constantly tired but I can't sleep. COVID is very real and it can happen to everyone. This was just the very tip of the iceberg of my story. Edit, thanks everyone for the nice comments and sharing your stories. I wrote this out of a place of frustration and I feel slightly less alone today. Thank you.
Had a guy at work with it, he's back now but he's nothing like what he was. Exhausted constantly, gaunt, out of breath, and he's been late a few times because he said he couldn't wake up in a morning. To look at him I believe him 100%. He's a perfectly healthy 30-odd-year-old and he didn't even get COVID that bad, but it's flawed him.
In the 50s there were pictures of people in iron lungs and descriptions of the sufferings of polio victims. Polio was feared by people and the vaccinations were sought out and pretty much unquestioned. This is a time when we could use more pictures and descriptions of the current disease. The thing isn't real enough for many people. Too easy to deny it. I know this sounds awful.
Feel like we're seeing more in their 20s and 30s at our intensive care units as well. Only pre-existing condition in a lot of them is obesity/asthma. Seeing an increase in myocarditis leading to arrest as well as strokes in this age group. It's sad to see such young people get denied for ECMO based on BMI alone, but we just don't have enough machines.
I work in a dental office, so our patients aren't wearing masks while we treat them, and over half of my coworkers opted to not get the vaccine even though they have direct contact with tons of unmasked people's mouths and saliva. Crazy.
50F and healthy. Had it in February. Moderate symptoms. Lost taste and smell. Back about 60%. Still have these weird phantom smells. The worst is cigarette smoke. This beep is all too real.
This is a great reminder that people need to stay vigilant and that we aren't even close to out of the woods. I just left a store where most of the older people had no masks on in spite of the signs saying they are required. Beep me the beep.
What's also horrifying is the fact that the people that refused that COVID was a threat only took it seriously when one of their loved ones died. Why do people have to die in order to make idiots understand the situation? Over 500,000 people have died, meaning nearly 500,000 families lost someone to COVID. We can't keep going on like this. If I saw something even remotely close to what you just saw, I would be terrified too.